We don't have anybody joining on that too. I'll try to as well. Just, it'll say someone entered the room.
Should we see something over there?
Oh, it should be over there too. Why it's not? Oh, you know what? We've got to
Put into the next one, we put it in yet.
Change the
Yeah.
input.
There we go.
The plane.
Yeah. I'll call the monthly Village of Lake George Board of Trustees meeting to order. And we have almost everyone in attendance. Only on Zoom. Here's Jose now. Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
We get what I'm saying. I had to make sure full back was.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, let's get my mind.
I'm sorry.
Trustee groups. Lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Congratulations. Thank you. It's good name. Oh.
It is.
Yeah, isn't it? I was impressed. I was like, I know who that is.
I was really scared.
He doesn't listen to you. That's great.
All right, that'll,
I just know. I was like,
oh, you got it.
Yeah, right.
We have the minutes from our regular meeting, July 17th, and special meeting, July 27th. Take the motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second. Seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. We have monthly reports from the sanitation department, superintendent of public works, director of events, rec center, director of planning and zoning, and parking meter collections and enforcement.
and just 1 second, there is the roll call, fire calls over there. I just got them this morning, so they're not in your board documents. There's not a report from Brandon, he's away.
Okay.
So,
Normally, the fire department would have a report. So those are available for anyone who would want, free of charge. Next is employee hires and employee payout. I can do half of this. You tell me about the second half.
Yeah.
Julie and I both interviewed separately Kelly Singleton, among others, to replace Denise Snyder. It was a tough choice, but we chose Kelly based on her payroll experience, and that's really what we need. So I would put in the form of a motion myself that we hire Kelly Singleton. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Joe. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Now, what was the second part of that? Employee payout.
well, there is one other person on there. John Oliver.
Oh, is it? I skipped right past him. Yeah, this was from Keith. This was your recommendation, correct, Keith?
This is Tim's.
Tim's. Based on the recommendation of our wastewater treatment plant superintendent, I'll take a motion to approve the hiring of John Oliver. Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's have it again.
Now,
The payout.
the payout. Basically, when somebody leaves, they're entitled to certain things. They're sick in their vacation time. Sick is paid out at half the rate or half the total hours that they have available. Denise had 376.25 hours available at half rate, which was $5,190.23. And as far as vacation, the max you can get is 210 hours. And that was at her regular rate. So that was $5,793.90. She also qualified for her $500 longevity. That's being 20 years here. So altogether, we paid out $11,484.13.
You need an approval
There's
for that?
not, so, yeah. if you
It's
wanna
it's
do-
in our codes or
Yeah,
it's
we
our
can do
handbook.
approval on that.
All right, motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hey, it's not bad. Okay, resolutions. Got a bunch of resolutions and I would probably like to take them. I do have an addition to this column. Came in very late,
Literally.
literally very late, at 4 o'clock. But we wanted to award the paving bid and the F-150 truck mini bid. Funds from the wastewater treatment plant reserves to the general fund for the blower and the flight backup pump and enact a permissive referendum for that. Tim, you want to explain a little bit?
All right, and so
Doesn't sound like it.
remember from last summer, we had issues with getting enough air to the SBRs. The blowers supply the oxygen to the SBRs. It was dedicated for each SBR. We have 3 SBRs. Because we couldn't get enough air. Now they have a blower header system, which any blower could supply air to any SBR. In order to make that work, we have to use a spare as well. So we had 3 dedicated, and then we had a spare. We have to use a spare now for the header system, so we don't have a spare. If I don't have the spare blower, during the middle of summer, I'm going to have a lot of trouble. So so now I have to buy a spare. The jet motor pump, there's 3 jet motor pumps for each SBR. There's 1 for each SBR. One of them turns clockwise, the other 2 turn counterclockwise. They supplied a spare for the one that spins clockwise. So I have a spare jet motor pump for 1 pump. So I don't want a spare for the other 2. So the spare is for the other 2 that turn counterclockwise. And we just got a price on the jet motor pump.
Yeah.
Did you see what I forwarded you?
Yeah, that's less than you thought it was gonna be.
Less than what we thought it was.
That's good.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's not good to spend all the money, but we have to.
Yeah, they're critical piece of equipment. That's first.
So for clarification on the resolution, I had up to 200,000 because we didn't have this second number in yet. We'll total the 2 of them and that total amount will be on the reserve is what we'll transfer.
So is this this was extra than what we budgeted last year?
Comes out of the reserves, yeah. Yeah, and it is, like I said, it is reserve, it's replacement, basically. You can't order it once something goes bad.
Right.
The lead time
'Cause then you're
is
waiting.
too long.
Oh, no, I
Resolution to show support for the Adirondack Review Board agreement and support. We've been a member for years there. It's $150, I think.
Price went down.
Price went down from 300, yeah.
Yeah, it was crossed off.
Lockout tagout procedure. You want to talk about that?
So I've been working with Needham Risk Management on our safety policies, and the last 2 that I've been working on are the lockout, tagout, and hazard communication. Big standard policies. The lockout, tagout is specific to each department. Procedure is pretty much the same, but each piece of equipment is different. So there's procedures to lock out different pieces of equipment. You're working on a piece of equipment that's energized, somebody's going to get hurt. So that's why we have these policies. The hazard communication is for chemicals and those type of things that we use in our work environment. So everyone knows what PPE, personal protective equipment, they should use. And that type of thing, when they're working with that type of thing.
And that covered the hazard communication program as well. Wastewater treatment plant, EFC and reserve funds.
Just to explain what this is, normally you guys approve for us to pay anything that needs to come out of EFC. We have things that are coming out of the reserve funds that we've already waited our 30 days for. It comes out of last year's budget, so it's not out of this year's budget. We're just making the payments now.
Okay. Out of Village Water User Agreement, Beach Road Waterworks Corporation. This is a fairly new thing that we're doing with, under the guide of our attorney. Large water customers, we've never had an agreement with them other than there's your water meter and you can pay us for the water. So for as far as expansion or increased demand, we need to have an out of village water agreement. Like, if you take it, for example, some of the larger resorts on the Bolton Landing Road that we supply water with, we have never had a water agreement. So we're trying to tidy that up with some of the new developments that are going on, as well as some of the old it's endpoint meters and the like. So we want to be able to keep a better track of the usage and potential loss. And that's what those agreements cover. And that's the first of many that we'll see.
If I read that correctly, it almost says like, we can stop it whenever we want, we can charge you whenever you want. It sounds like it's very.
It's our bat, our ball.
Yeah, okay, I like that, because I still think that, and we really haven't discussed the water capacity study. I mean, I skimmed through it, but what the ultimate analysis was, is hard to have how much capacity or extra capacity we have. But I still think that before we venture into any big commitments to outside of village, whether it's water, sewer, that we ought to study consolidation and before we make this big commitments, whether it's workforce housing or any of those big projects that are on the board for a joint community project that we decided, are we going to be two different communities, or are we going to be one community, and how are we going to structure it? And because I'm always in favor of annexation, and having these like water and sewer is kind of the hook to get them to come on board. But then there's also the $500,000 tax incentive there. So, and we did make a commitment to do that sometime.
Yes. And we're likely trying to talk the other board into cooperating with us on the next round. They had no interest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought they'd already allocated or set aside the funds.
I mean, it's a revolving fund, so there's always money there for it.
Well, that's where I'm at with that, but I do like the way it was worded, that we could, no pun intended, pull the plug anytime we wanted.
A big factor of this too, being an outside user contract, is also allowing us easement into any facility for us to, without having a headache trying to get in there. If we've got a main that has to be addressed or whatever, because we still are probably going to have that obligation to maintain the system, but we're going to need legal access. So the big part of that is that as well. Just
And you check up on the meters to make sure there's no shenanigans.
do that, or even just
Right.
flushing in remote areas,
Yeah.
things like that.
Great. Does the village still have a moratorium on the provision of water to facilities outside the limits of the village? I know that came up when a lot of the new developments were coming through, like the apartment complexes. Is that still in force? And I know you were waiting for that study.
I believe we were waiting for the study, but was it a 6 month?
I think it was till the end of June is what.
Yeah, I think it's passed.
So that's expired.
But nothing, thankfully, nothing big has come in, but while we're awaiting the recommendations of the study, I think a lot of it was, we're waiting on the town to create water districts, and they're working on it. So if a water line ruptures outside of the village, we've always just fixed it. And it should be, the costs for repair should be borne by that water district. So each water district, there may be 2, maybe 3 in the town outside of the village. The repairs costs would be paid for out of that water fund. It just cleans things up a little bit. And let's see, where were we? Hazard mitigation plan update. Gonna go on a limb and think that's Tim.
It's,
That's through Warren County.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah, that's through Warren County. It's basically just they're updating the program. I think it's a 5-year increment, if I'm not mistaken. And the county, and along with, Warren County Soil and Water as well, have been spearheading this with a company called Tetra Tech. And, they're just, basically, trying to identify fail-safe or shortfalls in our system with hazard mitigation and upgrades, whether we should be looking at. So it's more of a, it's just a report compiled right now. There could be action items, in the future, maybe a year from now, somewhere around that ballpark. But this is just a study and a report.
Shepherd Park Beach Stormwater Improvement Park. I know you guys are sick of me talking about this, but you have the handouts in front of you. I think it's a wonderful project. There's a 90% match of $50,000 in design, which we've applied for and we are now waiting. I just want a resolution stating that we are seeking funding to have a design done for this park. And potential fishing pier, which would likely be funded from DRI. That'd be a wonderful way to get out on the water without having a boat. So you can have water on both sides via ADA compliance, all people welcome.
A lot of people, in fact, the day I saw you walking, there were a lot of people fishing off the lakefront walkway.
Yeah,
And they're going back like this with their hook.
Oh, yeah.
There was
Every time I'm walking, I'm
Yeah,
watching.
like,
there was a gentleman in today that pulled up to park on his boat, and the parents of the kids fishing, they moved out of the way so he could dock, and the parents said, "How dare you come here, my kid's fishing."
Oh, yeah. So
These are
Yeah.
public docks, you know?
maybe we should just
Well, that's
limit the
kind
fishing
of,
to this area and not along the pedestrians. Hooks flying.
it can be it may be maybe some signage of maybe a certain dedicated area or
Or time span.
time span that you could fish, but yeah, we should definitely discuss that further.
I would also say that it does create a dead fish smell. I don't know if anyone else.
The
goes
bait,
down
when
there.
they leave the bait.
No, there's dead fish all
Oh,
over the place.
Because
They
pull the
hook
hook out
them
and
and
yeah.
they throw them in to like Dog Beach. Every time I go there, it's covered in dead fish. I mean, it's a good point. It does create a massive smell.
Mhm.
I don't care really. But for this, this isn't the final plans, correct? Okay.
No, it's a concept.
Okay, because I walked down there and I was like, I don't think this is to scale.
You know, it's probably not.
Yeah.
I thought that the picnic tables were quite small
Yeah.
in real life, but yeah, this is like an artist rendering or a depiction. We get into the meat of the design when we get further along.
No pier,
What's that?
no pier.
No, just-
Boats, you mean?
No,
Oh, you mean
the
the
log, like we were talking about.
Yeah, we just didn't get that copy.
Oh, you got it
Oh.
over here.
Okay.
You got the
You
plan
got
A.
it.
that's-
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Oh, okay.
that's the initial submittal.
Right.
To drill on there for you.
Well, I knew it would be raining, or I just, oh, this changed.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna move on to the newer one that's not on your agenda is, the Stony Creek Band is playing their 50th anniversary on Thursday. We want to be able to pay them, and the Switch is the other opening band. He came in today to try to submit an invoice, and we just had never approved it. It's $1,500 for the Stony Creek Band to be paid, and I think the Switch is $500 or $600. They're the opening act. That's
Boat guys.
both guys.
Both.
So those resolutions, if we could take them all in one motion, I'm willing to do that. If you want to break anything out and talk about it further.
Break one out.
I just want to be specific on the paying of them. It would get done through our payroll, not waiting till next month's audit is basically what we're getting at. We don't want to, he doesn't want to wait until September.
Right, occupancy rates. You got the occupancy.
It does not show in
It
us.
doesn't show on Octax because it wasn't planned until after the Octax ran its course. And we couldn't pay it at Octax.
The resolution for the Adirondack Park. The board has authorized mayor, please.
Oh, does it? Well, we'll have to.
No, doesn't really-
Retype
Well,
that
there's
one.
it also had $300 on there and,
Hand cross.
it's,
cross
I
out.
hand crossed, it's $150.
Resolution.
I was gonna get that to you. I appreciate it. Okay, so pending that correction, is there a motion to approve these? Okay, is there a second? Seconded by trustee Jose. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Number 5 is special events, facilities, use applications. We have, Wood Park for Americade. The pilgrimage for restoration. That is the religious pilgrimage. I think they're Jesuits that come here. They do it every year. They basically walk from somewhere to somewhere else, by the Father Joe. Voorheesville, right? By the Father Joe statue, and they get set up in the Wood Park. And the Adirondack Independence Music Festival, which is a Dave Eman show, Labor Day weekend.
Regarding that.
Nope, not at all.
I know we've been trying to tighten up, clean up our whole, events process. This application was submitted on August 1st. Says right at the top,
Yep.
it's 90 days in advance. I mean, it's like next Friday, right? And so, we just seen the application now. And the part where it says list on contractors, subcontractors, vendors, agent, blah, blah, blah. GBD. It's already been determined, it's on social media.
Sure,
It's just, this is somewhat,
this has got to get cleaned up.
yeah,
I agree.
kind of disrespectful, or I don't know, I don't know,
It's almost like expecting us to just say yes. I get
that's
it.
when there's a photocopy of the check there. Oh, here's the check. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna. prove
Now,
it.
I will check, I can tell you, it was put in by our new, the person that's taken over for Denise, because she's like, well, I just want to make sure they know that
Oh,
it's paid.
All right, but
Yeah.
it's nice that it's paid, but it's kind of insulting that, this is your application, okay, so. I know he's been a long-term, vendor or whatever, entertainer, but we still should keep to the process.
Agreed. I think we'll have to, address this. I mean, this is kind of close to, Labor Day now, but definitely moving forward, I want to have that.
It's too late for you, I'm sure he's all in on it, so.
Sure.
To say no at this point would be. But
No.
I think
But it's a good point.
it's a new mayor in town.
That's right. Things are gonna get done right. But I will take a motion.
So I wanted to kind of pull out the 2024 event, Americade. And I'd almost like to maybe make a motion to table that, because I know at one of our last meetings, we talked about creating a special events workshop where we could have residents and business owners come in and tell us what they feel about events that we hold. This way, like, we know that we're not just like picking and choosing events to be in town, for like, we should have a reason for why we're choosing them. So that's why I would like to table 2024 until we have that.
Okay, we can table that one. I mean, we can further discuss it at any time,
Yeah.
but it's Americade. They come every year, so.
I know they come every year, but I guess it's a lot of like opinions. There are residents who like it, there are residents who don't like it, there are businesses who like it, there are businesses who don't like it. And my questions are, how much do we benefit as the village of Lake George from hosting events of this nature? So having like a special events workshop where people could understand that, I think is really beneficial, because the last time that this specific event was studied on the economic impact was 2007. Right, and so there's just like, there's a huge impact to our village in general. It would be good to just make sure like we're hosting something that creates a lot of like people coming into town, trash pickup, wastewater, things of that nature that we're like, we financially make a significant amount to cover what the village has to do for that.
We do, but we can have that workshop.
Yeah,
Also, they've really changed a lot in recent years. They're kind of going through this evolution, and they're, like last year, this year, they shut down all of
right.
Beach Road.
Right.
So that was a first time thing. So-
Yeah. I'm not in favor of that happening again, but
So, yeah, we don't know what,
It's a lot of
What's gonna happen next year?
manipulations of free events to try to get them all to work.
okay, we can take that one up. How about the pilgrimage for restoration and the Adirondack Independence Music Festival? Motion to approve. Second, and all those in favor?
I,
Aye.
you have to vote on table.
Motion to
Yeah.
table, motion to table the Americade.
I'll second.
Oh, wait, I missed one, sorry, no, rec center, no, we're good, we're good. So you
Okay.
made a motion? Okay, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
For the rec center, we have but one,
Nay,
you say nay, okay. For the rec center, we have but one, there may be another softball group looking to play there in the fall, they're working on getting their articles of organization together, but this one is Titans Fast Pitch, will be rented to before on October 7th and 8th. Do we have the application for that? Are we charging?
It was,
Yeah. Okay, $600, so it's $200 a field, they're using all three fields. And we have their insurance, so I'll take a motion to approve. Any motion? Seconded by trustee Roots. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. Shepherd Park, we have but one event there, chicken barbecue for the Methodist Church. It's a drive-through, so they just pull up to the park, pick up their chicken and pay for it, be on their way. It's September 14th from 3 to 6. What is
It is
it's after
a Thursday,
Thursday, right?
17th of the Sunday.
That's jazz, okay. So it's right before jazz. They've got all their stuff in order. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second chicken.
Second chicken, all right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Beach Road and Village Docks. The Lake George In-Water Boat Show, September 23rd and 24th, from 10 to 5. Keith and I met with them. Everything seems to be in order as far as partial lane closure, and we know what we're doing. We hosted them many times before. It's a very nice boat show. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second? Second by trustee Root. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. I will take a motion to table because I'm sure you're gonna want to table that. Table the Americade 2024. That's your motion. I need a second. Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Fair votes aye. All right, beautification of vote and awards. Were they all unanimous or no?
do we need it? The last, okay, so we have, winner for residential is 109 Schuyler Street. And the winner for the commercial is the Lighthouse Grill.
Those awards will be presented during the Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest weekend coming up, the 20. No, it's the 17th, I think, yeah. So I'll present those awards to them. Some training that needs to be approved is the 2023 North Country Stormwater Conference and Trade Show, October 19th. It's Heath Lanfear and John Helms at $125 a piece.
We're municipal, so I think it's 100 apiece.
Oh, okay.
I believe so.
So, and an amount not to exceed $125 a piece.
That's the,
Oh, the
They
last
have.
minute one?
Need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second, seconded by trustee Root. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. John Deere 320 backhoe loader lease. This is just replacing the one we got, right?
Yeah, it's for the sanitation.
For the sanitation department, the one that's
Yeah, our lease
expiring.
is expired.
Yeah.
Then is it a 320 or 310?
By the time the lease expires, the useful life of the equipment is usually, if you agree, by the time the lease is expired, the useful life of the equipment is
Yeah,
passed.
it's not used, but you start putting money into it.
Start repairing it,
It's
it's for the buyout. It's worth.
Spend more time on it.
So this is
Can we get a,
the whole thing, the whole entire cost, the entirety of it is.
well, it's
$126.
basically showing you all the quotes that we got.
Mhm.
Yeah. John Deere's the lowest.
Would you like the John Deere?
Yeah, we got no, I have no interest in any of the quotes.
So it's a total cost of $18,238.31 for 60 months.
So, based upon the recommendation of our sanitation professional, I will, make that motion that we approve the lease of the new John Deere. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Wastewater treatment plant, engineering services. Yeah, you're coming up a lot tonight.
Yeah, I know. Once again, there's some shortfalls in the design of the wastewater treatment plant on. Not pointing fingers, but there's a couple things that need to be addressed and, want to provide some engineering services to work through those. The most important one is, the priming mechanism for our waste pumps and our belt press feed pumps. Need to be addressed. Most pumps are flooded suction, so there's no issue with trying to prime them. Our pumps have piping that goes up and over and back down into the tank, so pumps just don't naturally prime. So we have to fill it with a garden hose, and there's a check valve down in the tank, at the bottom of the tank, that allows us to be able to prime the pumps. If I have an issue with that check valve, the pumps aren't going to prime. I have to take the whole tank down, which is it's a major issue. So part of it is, KSP, is gonna look at a vacuum priming system that would actually pull the liquid out of the tank into the pump, to be able to prime the pump. The other issue is, we have some issues in the chemical feed, building. The way the tanks were designed, we can only use half of the volume of the tank. To be able to prime our chemical feed pumps. It costs us like $500 more every delivery that we get once a month of the product. To be able to, so they're going to look at engineering that as well. The last thing on there about the plug valves, is really no longer an issue because we just replaced one of those valves that we have now. It's a butterfly valve. It's only $2,000, and doing a little more research, there's actually a way we can, instead of replacing the whole valve, we can replace the seal. So that's really not an issue. So it's probably gonna be less than what you see here.
Is this budgeted or where's it coming from?
It's not budgeted. But it definitely needs to be addressed.
Do we have, room and engineering?
Not off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, we have some money in there, but I think that it's mostly all pretty much taken, but I can look.
Okay, well, if at all possible, then budgeted funds, we,
Yeah, it's
we've
a
got
time,
money, but.
yeah, it was time and material up to, I don't have the dollar amount, it's like 13,000, 13 cents,
And here it says,
15?
of 15,000.
15,000. Yeah, so it's gonna be less than that. We took the paving money out.
Yes, I know.
So
We had to
we have
buy
money
the
left in
generator
there. We have
panel.
money left in that, so.
That's right, we do have, that's why I thought we did have, we took the paving money out. I think we do have the money for it in this current budget. Because, the generator panel didn't cost nearly what the paving was gonna cost.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll have that. I'll take a motion to approve the engineering services by Swazo.
So,
Is there a second? Everybody jumping into second, I think Jose won. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Okay, number 10, 6-story limitation. John Quirk had reached out, because he has some properties just outside of the 6-story overlay district. It's in the 4-story overlay district. When we, I don't like to spot zone anything, but when we changed the zoning due to the Marriott having planned on coming here, we raised downtown area to 6 stories, stopping at the school because it was already high enough. So we stop at the Mountain Drive, and we usually like to go with streets. And then based on the topography, I was on the steering committee. You were not, John Earl was. I was on the steering committee, and based on everyone's opinion, the topography of the village, like goes, the lowest point is down by the pit, by the visitor center. Looking at it from up the hill, you wouldn't notice 6 stories as much as you would on a hill. So that's why the 6-story overlay stopped at Mohican Street. So you got Lobster Pot is just kind of cresting the hill there. DJs and Gaslight, the Howard Johnsons, all of those, it goes downhill. We do have one other zone that is zoned for 6 stories, and that's behind on Dieskau and Sewell Street. And that was done a few years after, based on John Carr's University and Dennis Quirk's boat storage building, which in fact is only 40 feet. So he didn't take advantage of the height restriction then, but I think it was assigned a couple of years later, if I'm remembering correctly, because of the plans of the university going there. Now, this Fort William Henry across the street had fought for themselves to build the 5-story hotel, because there was a 5-story hotel there, torn down in 1969. They got their own approvals. Predates me, but the village board at the time said, you know, if you get the APA to sign off on this, then, you know, we're not going to stand in your way. So when we did the 6-story overlay, we just kind of threw it over the fort because it's 5 stories already. What are the chances they're ever going to add anything? So Sean had come to me and said, how come everybody around me is 6 stories and I can't build 6 stories? I said, well, we can think about it. I can bring it to the board. We can discuss it. We have to think about the cause and effects and like what could we not like about that? What could other residents not like about that? What could we like about it? I don't have a project to reference, and neither does he. But we don't have to take any action whatsoever. But I just wanted to say, you know, if you guys are in agreement, if presented with something, again, I don't want to spot zone, and then we would consider it. Because I think it's sort of my property's worth more if it's buildable to 6 stories to an investor than it is if it's only buildable to 4. But there's no project, so.
What's this property?
It's the Pancake House, the parking lot next to it, the old real estate house next to that, and then the one on the corner, Wits End.
What you want me saying too?
He bought Wits End as well.
6 commercial lots.
6, I think, commercial lots now.
Oh, I just wonder if that would impede the view, the people behind him.
Himsmere.
Sure.
A lot, are you?
Yeah,
It would totally, but that's not for us to say. That's for us to discuss and see what the project would be. But yeah, 4 stories you're gonna block 10 to. They're already zoned for 4 stories.
I had a conversation with Sean also this morning, via phone about it, and I reiterated, Ray's point about spot zoning and just granting, 6 stories for anything that comes through here. I agree that we shouldn't blindly, just create areas for that. First come up with a plan, something, a drawing, and then from there we could walk out, see, and what benefit does it give the village?
Mhm.
Obviously, we're looking for housing. I'm a big fan of mixed use. I like the commercial, residential, side of it. But, I guess, yeah, like I said, like case by case, basis on it and see what the benefits are. At the end of the day, what does it actually bring into the village? Residential and business.
Right, I agree. I don't think we should blanket approve anything, because we don't know what's coming. If something does come, we can discuss it at the time. Just the willingness to discuss it is, I think, all he's looking for.
Yeah, and I know he's working on plans. Right now, the plans, I checked online on LoopNet. I saw a 4-story property on there. And I just mentioned that, I don't think the blanket, zoning, that, I don't think that's gonna happen for Dan. Doesn't want that to occur either, but,
Yeah, I spoke with Dan
Yeah.
about this too. Just said, it's,
A lot of times in these cases, we kind of, look to the, planning board for directions. So how they feel.
yeah, it would definitely have to be, discussed at that level, even if we were to do anything, which I don't recommend that we do. I just wanted to see if the board is willing to discuss it, and if something comes to pass, I'm gathering that we are willing to discuss it.
and you see a plan first. And how that benefits us. for them.
Back in the day when we were going through the whole Marriott process, they put balloons in there just to get an idea of what the height was gonna look like.
What 72 feet looks like.
And that is a high point where they are, like you said, it's already, it's high, it's, I don't know, 2 stories
That's part of the
off
village.
the, off the.
Off the
bottom
pit,
as
from
it
the
is.
pit, yeah.
At least 2 stories, maybe more.
It could be open for discussion, but I mean, we're talking about this would be, like, things like that would increase, obviously, his property value, but it's decreasing property value around him. So again, we're
Tim's
affecting-
property.
Yeah, so, I'm just saying, it's something where, like, I can understand why he wants to increase the value of his property, but again, you're affecting everybody around you, so.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement there.
Put entirely, well, that's what it was when you bought it.
That's right. It was 4 stories when you bought it.
But that's actually.
Yeah, okay, so that said, we have a water shut off at 16 Newton Street. We just need to get a request from either via email or snail mail. But they, what, now, is that in the village?
Street.
That's how you do it.
Okay, they're allowed to have a well, okay. So, yeah, do we need a motion? Think so.
That was my first one, I was like, I don't know. They asked me to put it in.
Why not? There a motion to agree to this water shut off?
It's in our bylaws.
It's in our bylaws, so we don't need a resolution for it. Okay, so then never mind. Board approved. Student connection certificate of incorporation. It is, dated, like a lot of the things that we've done, but, we need to update our, executive members. I'm willing to replace Mayor Blaze. I believe Stephanie was willing to stay on. I have to ask Debonair. She was taking the minutes from our student connection meeting. Howard Nichols, I don't think he's really around anymore. Hasn't attended a meeting all year. So, I was thinking of, asking Gina Mincer from the chamber to be on. Only because she's so active in the discussion and the help when finding students. So basically, the main thing we do with the student connection is making sure these kids have housing and are being treated properly and fairly. Other than that, we do sponsor bus trips, we do dinners, for getting to know you type dinners. have a policeman there telling them how to walk on the road at night and which side and wear like colored clothing, just to ensure their safety while they're here. It used to be a lot more of a stringent board, and we're finding that as our housing needs are being met, we're still needed to represent the kids and ensure they have a safe time while they're here. So I'm willing to serve on it's a 501(c)(3), not for profit, so we can take donations from outside people to have in savings. I think our savings, we have like $7,000 in our fund. But that, just wanted to bring that up and see if anybody had any thoughts otherwise or in tandem with that.
This is for the J1 soon.
I can get with Matt Fuller and update the not-for-profit corporation law. If anyone has any objection. So now. Okay. 13 is water changes and transfers and audits. I will take both of them in one motion. What?
Okay, go ahead.
I think Joe had it. All right, you're second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. Let's see, we're gonna go into an executive session. Yeah, but first we'll take department head comments. Do you, got anything else, Tim? You're not spending any more money.
With all the money we are spending, that damn boots came up on last Thursday. And I explained to him all the issues that we're having, the amount of money we have to spend, so at least the town is aware of it. So so the other thing on the weekends, I get bored, so I go out and start writing parking tickets for an hour. One thing I've noticed is that it seems like the most offenders are the paid or the old fashioned meters where you have to put the coins in. That those spaces seem like they're the biggest offenders, so I don't know, at some point we can eliminate those.
Because they're out to the edges or anything.
Yeah,
To get away with it.
back street. Who's checking, right?
I've noticed this.
Well, they all.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah. Like Beach Road Parkway, you see very few, paying displays, you don't see very many violations. You do see some, but not as many as you see in fact.
I see a lot of people struggling with downloading the app. It's not enough bandwidth. They can't download the app.
There's
Tell people to walk to the park, maybe you can download it there.
I do the radio interview on the weekends and I repeatedly say it, download the app before you come. I'd say it in every press release that we do. Just try and download it, put your license plate in, get your payment all set. And then when you get here, there's enough bandwidth to do that. But it's been a busy year. So
I've seen it too on that. I can see it. I can see, all right, this guy's got 2 minutes left. I go up the street and I can start coming back. He's got 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
Because
he refreshed it.
It's in the bar somewhere.
He can reload.
Yeah, I know.
Heath, what do you got?
Just, we're still following up with our program with the lead and copper, program that we got going on. Still compiling information, anytime we have an opportunity to get into somebody's house and, view their, service line, see what it is. And then we do, go back and do recordings. And we actually can send it to the county now. They've got a central hub for, all the municipalities in Warren County so we have a central area to send all this information. So it's uniform. It can be digested and shared. And we can watch it as well as we compile the report, the inventory. So that's still ongoing right now. Well, I got $7,200 for Tim. We just sold the old generator out of the old sewer plant, so that came in today. So he's got a little more money to spend.
Don't tell him.
Don't tell him that.
Really make sure that goes in my 130.
Other than that, right now, everything's going pretty well.
How's the cooperation been with residents and water users?
We're
I
actually
know I took a
getting, we're
picture of my
getting
pipe
them,
and sent it.
we've been getting calls, into the water plant, and, you know, a lot of people will even, message on the answer machine and so on, so of course we follow right up, that, but, we're seeing it, people are understanding it more now. So I think that's helping out by a lot.
All right.
Have you had a chance to look into like, last time we talked about the trash collection system and you were thinking of getting like, looking into a different way to do it? The garbage
Yeah,
truck.
Well, yeah, well, basically, we're looking at, the possibility of a smaller sized rear load, garbage truck, basically. There's some, I have some information compiled already. I'm actually looking at some more. And so I'm working on it now, yeah. Try to alleviate some of the hurdles to our, our guys, the workers, so they're not getting hurt or getting sore when they're throwing bags and all that kind of stuff. They have, there's this company in Scranton, Pennsylvania that kind of, has the, good niche in this for smaller pieces of equipment to help, with refuse and so on. So I still have to get some more research to do, but I'll share it. So when I get something that looks like you guys will want to check it out. Yeah.
All right, anybody have anything else? Young man?
No, can I talk to you afterward, quick?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're gonna go into an executive
Yeah,
session.
yeah.
We'll come back out.
Okay, no
We
problem.
won't conduct any business while we're in the executive session, so, we might conduct some when we come out. Do you want me?
No, you're already to go into executive session?
Yeah. Can you make a motion, we go into executive session, is there a second? Second by trustee Joe.
Are you guys all set?
Yes. All those in favor say aye.
I want to thank, before I want to thank Tim and the crew that came in that time. We had that backup on the water sewage problem down there.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
That's me too.
Dave. Well, yeah,
Or I will be like videoing in from the hospital.
that's what I said, we'll
This can
accommodate you.
distract me from labor pain.
Put the TV in the sun, right?
We're good, right? Did they leave?
We're still out there.
I'm pleased.
I just saw her.
Yeah, they're coming.
Oh, okay. Guess we don't have anything else on the agenda.
How about them,
Make the motion.
The next- the next regular board meeting, we wanna, because I'm not here, do you guys
Okay.
wanna keep it on the 18th, or do you wanna do it on the 25th? Absolutely, it would be the following Monday, we can't do it prior, September.
That's my birthday.
That's my
Like I
birthday.
said, we can do it on the 19th, and then, Danae would be the one doing the
18th.
minutes.
So
Monday,
Monday, September 19th, but September 19th is
April, the 18th, yeah, September
is
18th.
a Tuesday.
Yeah, because
See you for that.
they've had one of baseball games on Sunday.
I'm not here on the 19th.
You're not,
The 18th,
Why don't we have? it?
it's the 18th, right?
Yeah,
I don't have a calendar in front of me.
You want it to be something different.
I don't care how you guys decide,
But Danae
Because
would
I
have
won't
to
be
be here
here.
recording now.
so if you want, if you
what about
want.
the 11th?
The 18th is our.
No,
normal-
Can't do it before.
Can't do it before, we'll have too many bills that would end up being late because I wouldn't get them on time.
Gotcha.
The 18th is our normal, so the 18th would be our normal schedule.
Right, do you wanna keep it that way
Yeah, well, Danae can do it.
and have Danae do
Yeah,
it?
that's fine.
That's fine.
Or maybe
Okay.
maybe Shirley Saturday? No, it's a new person.
No, it would have to
No,
be
she wouldn't-
today,
it
she's
wouldn't
my
be-
deputy.
yeah, Today's the deputy clerk.
Someone here really fast all day, so she's stuck.
Okay,
Don't call me Shirley.
Kelly is what it is.
Kelly.
I had to think about it. Kelly.
Kelly Singleton.
Singleton.
Singleton is what we are.
Mrs. Dunkley?
Yeah, Mrs. Dunkley, she's in heaven. This is Robin.
Oh,
Scott called you
Yep.
about parking.
Mhm.
The minute he was gone, they were out there, right back out there 5 minutes later. Now they're out on James Street, pulling cars in and out. They've almost been hit twice on James, but our cameras won't pick it up because you gotta stay out. They're belligerent. they're obnoxious. You know, nobody else is able to go out and say, don't park at the parking meters, come on in here, or go out and grab cars, or sit in the street. Joe knows we sit on the property. I brought everything to show, I don't know how many families we've kept in the village. But, people are complaining there's not enough parking in the village. We're sending them up the street. Is there parking still up there? Or is that just for residents?
Well, there's parking up there.
Because they're saying that they can't park up there, that they're getting told it's just for residents only.
Oh, and they're getting bad information then.
Yeah, way up on Cooper.
Cooper, yeah.
Because we tell people, go up there and
It's
park.
only parking on one side of the road if that, but I think there might be a couple signs up there, no parking.
There's certain sides, yeah.
Is there,
Because the road isn't wide enough for both sides, or even one side for that matter.
Yeah, so if anyone's telling people that it's resident parking only.
because they're walking down and they're telling people, oh, don't go up there and park because there's people up there telling you can't park. It's just for residents only.
Who's doing that?
I don't know, because I can't get up there with the two broken knees and Scott in his wheelchair. And he's going, there's parking up there. You know, all the side streets from here, and he'll show them, from here on up is parking. Or they'll get a ticket at the yellow curbs and we get yelled at for it.
Wow,
It's not like it's our fault.
No, it's the parking in a no parking zone.
And then in front of our house, I don't know about up on the other side, you know, up where you guys are, but they're having an awful lot of problems with the app on the phones. They're not getting the signals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've just discussed that actually. It's when there's that volume of people in the area, the cell coverage doesn't have the bandwidth to accommodate all of these smart.
Is there anything we can do to help them besides giving them
Give them
quarters?
your Wi-Fi password.
I thought about doing that, but I didn't want.
I don't want to give them my password because I don't want them to get into my, you know.
Right.
into the computer.
That was sort of tongue in cheek.
Yeah, okay. Especially with Jaden in school, you know, I don't want him getting into school right.
You know, like the old man would used to be levity.
Maybe there might be some miscommunication though, like I don't live on Cooper, but I live on Skylar. It's always packed.
Is it?
Yeah, so they might say that there's just not parking because they can't find parking. I mean, there's always someone out front of my house.
Because it was just like, struck me as funny, because I'll say to people, run up there before you come here. You know, go get the free parking in, but go to the meters first. And we always make sure the meters are full before we do it. I don't know how many families we've kept in the village. I don't know what you guys are doing this year, but it's wonderful. We've had more people in this village than we've ever had before.
Well, thank you, but it is that they're still coming. Unfortunately, they're not spending the money that they spent last year when it was still free, some of it. But we find that you check the parking meter revenues, the water flows, and you can tell if the population, if the people are still here. You even talk to some of the trusted business owners. They're still coming, they're just not spending the money. The first one to lose money is retail. When you come to Lakeshore, you have to stay somewhere,
Right.
you gotta eat. You don't have to buy anything. And we're finding that retail is down across the board 30% this year. And I think that's due to the economy and people are scared.
Yeah.
So a lot of walking around.
A lot of walking around, a lot of picnicking.
Yeah.
A lot of picnicking. I noticed restaurants are right around what, 10% now?
We don't see a lot with the farmer's market though. People are not buying.
Yeah.
It's like it's a craft fair.
Yeah, we discussed that.
So, but that's just, we're just really worried somebody's gonna get killed in front of Caldwell.
I will talk to Ally. Actually, Jose, you want?
I could reach out to Alan.
Okay.
I don't wanna see anybody get hurt.
No, and it's probably not Ally, that's, it's.
I don't know who the people are in the church anymore.
No,
What's that? It's the people from the church trying to get money to the church so that when they sell the parking spaces for fireworks, that money goes to the church, but
It's a donation.
yeah,
I mean, the Catholic Church used to do the same thing.
Catholic Church used to do the
And
same
I
thing.
used to make comments, because the Knights of Columbus had asked about doing that for the couple of car show, and I said, listen, we're not gonna tell you you can't, but we're gonna tell you, you can't stand in the street, you wanna put a sign up, say parking $10, whatever you wanna do,
You can't
but
walk.
you can't stand
Yeah.
out there, wait flags, because we've had that discussion
Yep,
in the past, but
Yep.
you've been really good just sitting there.
you know, just sit there
With
and,
your signs on the table and
Yep,
people that are asking you.
and I usually,
Yeah.
like last week, I was sending people up. Go fill the other streets up first and then come down, because we don't do anything until there's no more parking left. Just trying to keep people in, that's why I brought the files with me, because we keep track of everybody that comes in. So I have to have it for our insurance that we had to take out, plus we have to pay the taxes on it.
Right.
Yes, we do pay taxes.
Oh, I believe you.
We're very good at that.
All right, well, thank
No,
you for
we'll-
coming
we'll
in.
Reach out.
Anybody have anything else? No, I'm all talked out. All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second. So move.
Yeah. Order. Still on. So long. Yeah,